Good morning. Hope everybody had a great weekend. Great holiday Monday there. Um, Mine was kind of partial. I got a lot done on top of a lot of relaxation. It was a little bit of a mix for me, but sometimes for me getting certain things done or projects done is my relaxation. So um, yep, we are all set. So let's talk about the charts real quick. So I'm gonna bring up the chart and we'll bring up Friday because it was a pretty wild day. Let's see, nine. Yeah, okay. So you can see on here, this was the market open. So let's change over to regular trading hours so we can gauge that a little better. There we go. All right, so you can see on our regular trading hours, you look on Thursday, not too bad. Had a nice little long short scalp back into a long. So you can see that we opened up here, and then we just kind of collapsed down, right? And then you can see we continued through, and we had this short call as well. So, you know, my thing, guys, like I said, you guys know all last week, my biggest, most critical line is 451.57. That was the line to watch. Um, I didn't say we wouldn't break it above or below, but what I did say is we had to hold as support. And so you can see here, we did fall below this other line that we had, 452.91. So let's go to the 1 hour and we'll just take a minute and kind of talk about where we came up with these numbers. So this one that was crucial here. Let me go back to extended hours. When you're charting the lines, I always recommend being on extended hours because that way you capture all the price movement. So let's mute this one here. So you can see the 451.50 area was heavy support, heavy resistance, which ended up being lost as resistance, still stayed as resistance, right? So it was a really, really strong zone. The 452.94 was from this prior high here. And so when you're looking at this level, right, and you pull it down, you can see that we just constantly kept rejecting off of it, right, down that way. And then you come back up here. So now you can see heavy resistance. Do we have support, right? And it couldn't hold support. It also failed on the resistance over here, which collapsed as well, right? And so the key thing that I keep talking about is this 41.58 range going to become support or resistance? Well, currently now it's in resistance, right? If anything, you have kind of this double top going on right here, and we're at the neckline. So if market opens and we break back down to about 448.22, and then we gain a little bit of steam backwards, if we reject off of this 450 range, it's going to fall like really, really fast. We did have the bearish divergence that played out perfectly, and it may still be continuing to play out, right? It's possible. So we still have a little more room down that we can go. So that's kind of how we played the range Friday. That's kind of what we see for those who missed it. I'm going to clean up some of the lines here. I'm going to leave all these lines. I left this trend line. This trend line is just strictly from here up that way. What I'm curious to see is does this double top break and come down and hit this little pocket of support and trend line support, and then flip back up, right? Which would be about 446.42 or so would be our mark. So that's where I'm going to be kind of watching today. So if you look at here, we did get the short call, we got the long call. We did not get the short call in the 1 hour yet. I would suspect that probably would come if we were to break down to that 448 or so. So let's check the EMAs here. All right, so you can see we are below the 21 SMA here, which is about 450.97. So we need to flip 450.97. We'll call it 451, but honestly, that's so close to 451.50 that I would not take a call unless we flip the 450, 150. That's just me. I'm not going to take a call. Anything short of that, I'm just seeing this side, and then you got your peak, and then this side's a little weak, right? So we could have one little push up here, and if it can't flip that range again, then it's gonna just collapse. So like it's done so many times before. So that's kind of the range that I'll be watching. If I am riding this put down, I'm looking around 440, 650 for a bounce. So I would take a call anywhere in here, not only because on the 1 hour, you have the 200 EMA creeping up, which will be probably about there by the time we open and such. But you have a heavy support possible from prior resistance. Plus you have prior support, right? And then we can kind of keep scrolling back. So it looks like prior support is about only here and here, so smaller but possible. But I do have prior resistance here, so that is my range, guys. I'm going to be taking calls if I get into anywhere into the 446 range and I see some support, right? Don't just limit by it, right? Because if we collapse this, then it's coming down like hard. So I'm going to delete that one. Cool. All right, let's go. Let's talk about some of the tech stocks. So Apple, we've been talking about this inverse head and shoulder. That played out perfectly. We did not get a full reclaim of this side, but we did get a reclaim of the prior support so far. So the range I would watch for Apple is 187.32, because if it holds that as support, we're gonna have another pop north to reclaim this whole side right here. So, however, if it flips it and starts acting as resistance again, then it's just going to drop and this whole thing's going to collapse. So, but that played out pretty well. Pretty well as anticipated there. Google, to me, Google's looking a little more bearish because, and the reason why I say that is you have that trend line that we drew. So it looks like it hit it on Friday. I wasn't even watching it. So it did actually break all the way up to that trend line. That trend line was just these peaks right here. Remember, we tried to capture as many peaks as we can. That's why some of them are a little bit over, some are a little under. And it worked out pretty well. I mean, it peaked out a little bit up. If you pull this up like this, right, and you touch this one, that would line up with that one, right? So we can adjust our line. I don't mind doing that. But if you look at the situation that Google's in, we are below the 21 and we're heading down to the 200. So I'm guessing you meant NVIDIA, but I will be doing NVIDIA in just one moment. And so again, Google's looking a little more bearish, I think, than Apple, because Apple has a chance at least to hold that support. Now, Google, I've been watching this for some time. We do have this kind of wedge. I wanted to see some kind of bearish divergence, if you guys remember. We do have a little bit of that, right? Because you do have a peak here, a higher peak, you have a peak, and a lower peak. So we are starting to get a little bearish divergence from Google. So I would be super careful taking calls on Google. Microsoft. Yeah, NVIDIA's on the next page. So Microsoft, Microsoft's in a little bit of a different situation, right? Because you had your fall. You had kind of your shoulder head form, right? A little mini shoulder, tried to break out, it collapsed, but it did create a higher low, right? Then it came up, and now it's just kind of holding at that higher low. So I think for Microsoft, if you're trading that today, you can probably take something as simple as this trend line like this. If we're below this, I would not take a call. If you're above this, right, I would not take a put. So I would do something as simple as that today for Microsoft. But I think there's better plays right now. But yeah, to me, it's not really clear if it's bullish or bearish right now. But let's see. A little bit of bearish divergence through here. Not super strong, but yeah, I would not feel comfortable taking a call on that one. and I would need to see some real good confirmation on a put. Let's see. So Amazon's a little different, kind of like Apple, right? Where we have broken this trend line, which is just these two peaks. If we can hold support around 136.62, then I'd be okay with taking a call on that. We do have the 200 EMA around 135.57. So any of those kind of bounces, right? Wait for your confirmation and ride that back up. Yeah, you got not a lot of action right here in this visible range. So if it does break that 136.88 or so, it's probably going to fall pretty quickly, and then get a bounce off here, and you can get a nice little call off that. All right, we'll do Tesla, then Nvidia. So Tesla's looking very similar to some of the other ones, right? You have your kind of corner here, and then you got your triple top. It's actually looking a little more bearish than some of the other ones. And then you have your kind of breakdown here. We did break that neckline here. I mean, really, the triple top neckline's already been broken, so does not look good. Not to mention, I mean, you can see our indicators have called bearish divergence, bearish divergence. I mean, the whole thing is really bearish divergence. I would expect Tesla maybe to pull back to around 472. It's gonna the big one's gonna be this red line. If it can hold, like market open can reclaim this and we can stay above, I would be okay with taking calls above 481. But I would really prefer it to flip this 21 SMA in the 1 hour, which is like 485, 46, depending when it comes down, right? Other than that, if you want to take a call, I'd wait till about 472, 474, somewhere in there. That way, you let this play out, because this pattern right here, a lot of times this is going to reclaim at least to this side. So we may even break this right here down to about 462. So if you're going to take it off the 200 on the 1 hour, just make sure it's a bullish confirmation candle. Don't just jump into it. Because this is setting up like it could fall really quick, actually. Let's zoom out a little bit. It's a small channel that we drew here. We're kind of in the middle of this channel. Yeah. The only thing I would say that kind of stands out to me a little bit, if you want to watch the breakout, I would take this low here, and I would just pull it up like that. Let's delete this one, and let's delete this one. I would do that. If we break this white line, then it's coming down. It's reclaiming this whole side, because you got your trend, right? It's broken the trend if it does. If it doesn't break that trend and it can actually hold it, then it's going to explode north. Oh, Tesla. Nvidia. Everybody wants to do Nvidia. Nvidia is funny because it got so much hype from the news, and so many poor souls were wrecked up here. Nvidia's looking the same, guys. I mean, if you look at it, you got your triple top, right? Almost the same pattern. Did I? Hold on. No, crazy here. Why does it do that? Did you see how I just flipped in Nvidia? I wasn't even looking at the price, guys. It's a Tuesday. I think that was Nvidia I was just doing. That's so crazy. I clicked Tesla and it flipped back onto me. But I'm like, wait, we just did this. I'm like, that's the same exact pattern. Anyways, that's Nvidia. Triple top. Watch that trend line. If it breaks it, we're coming down. If it doesn't, it holds this, we're going up. That's the problem I hate with the quad screens is when I do the option enter, it kicks me back for some reason. I don't know why. I don't know. That's weird. But, all right. Now we're back on Tesla, guys. I didn't even look at the price. I was just looking at the patterns. Looking at the data. Let me see. The only thing with Tesla is we are sitting right at this 200 EMA. If we flip 242, I would say I would ride that put, because it's gonna run down. If we can flip the 21 SMA around 248, then I would take the call. pretty simple with Tesla. Yep. Yeah, I don't know why it does that to me. It seems to do it on NVIDIA and Tesla all the time, but just to recover, guys, NVIDIA, I drew this line here, right? And if we break this white line, it's coming down. If it holds above this red line or this white line, then we're popping back up. Meta. Only thing about Meta that I see is we're kind of hanging on a cliff here. Let's look and see. I mean, we broke above here. Let's see if we pull this up. About there. That lines up because now we have this support. I'm good with that. We do have bearish divergence. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So Meta's starting to look a little bearish, but I would do the same thing. Where's my zone tracker? Let me put my zone tracker back on. The zone tracker is the one that has the 200 EMA. And then we do have this kind of cool, like Skulls and Sun, kind of helps you with staying in the trade and direction, but I don't use that one because I don't need it. But it's pretty good. Yeah, so we're just in a squeeze. That's what I was thinking. That's why I wanted to look it out. So Meta, you can see the 21 SMA, 200 EMA, we're in a squeeze. Whichever one we break below, if we break below the 200 and act as resistance, it's coming down. We're going to reclaim this side. If we flip above the 21 SMA on market open and the POC, which is like 296, then we're going up. Let's talk about the dollar. So the dollar, it's kind of funny because back here when everybody was talking about how the dollar is just crashing, going to zero, I had said that we were near some heavy support because you got prior resistance, prior support, and we began to hold support here, right? So those of you guys who've been following me for some time, we talked about this white line. This is what I had for like ever. On where I believe we were going to go, which we did. And then now the question is, we actually went above the white line, right? You can see we rejected, we went above it, and we held as support, causing an explosion. This red line was like my top of tops, right? Because that was due to here. You can see I still have the arrow. So the dollar's in a bit interesting spot, guys, because if the dollar ends up failing like it did here, right back here, you can see it collapsed. I mean, pretty good, right? And it was a constant collapse all the way down. So I love when I do that. We're just gonna delete that one. All right. Yeah, so I the dollar 104.69 is going to be crucial. If we flip it and hold it as support, next stop is 105. That's what I got. I don't think that it's going to hold though. I think that we will collapse back down a little bit, which is going to cause the markets to push up a little more. Is my thinking. Let's talk about crypto. I haven't even really talked much about Ethereum because I haven't really got a lot of requests, but I do have it there. Let's open it up. So at the end of the day, as terrible as this all looks, we are just trading sideways. You can see we're just in this little range, right? Tons of support within here. We did wick down to 25.5. My anticipation was that we're still gonna try to get to that 25.1. The only caveat I would say is we do have a higher low here, right? So I would not take a long though on Bitcoin or any of the altcoins unless Bitcoin can flip this 25.8 again and hold it as support. Really 25.9, I'd say. Plus it's this 200 on the 15-minute. Let's check the 1 hour. 1 hour 200 is like 26.1, so we got some ways before we go up there. So for me, I wouldn't feel comfortable taking a long unless I get back up to that area, 26.1. I want to see that flip, right? Because you can see where we lost it with some steam. It's interesting. I'm pausing for a minute because you can kind of see the pattern, right? I've seen this so many times before, and then we'll oscillate back up, and then we'll come back down for a fall. Probably retest this after we come back up again and reject. Stay safe out there. Let's jump into Live Trader real fast. I think it's this one. Yeah. All right. We can delete some of these. Let's do this. Let's remove all the drawings. And let's just look. So we don't want to set the alert on extended, but we can change it to extended for the TA just to see where the ranges have been. So let's do this. Let's go to the 1 hour. And let's draw our upper trend line. I'm going to take it from here. It lines up anyways. And we'll draw our lower trend line. We know we're sitting about here. Okay, so let's go a little tighter, maybe 5 or 15. You don't want to go, if you go to the 1 hour on when you're setting your upper and lower and middle range, it doesn't get it as tight as you need it, and you will just never take trades. But you don't want to go too aggressive where you take trades that you probably shouldn't take, right? So I think for my lower, I'm okay with something like that. And the reason why is you have resistance, support, and this is technically support here. So for those who don't know, if you're watching, we're setting up the automated trading for today. Let's look for the resistance. So we're at 450.83. I think this is a pretty good line right here because we got resistance. So it's gonna be heavy resistance in there. So that gives us about a $3 range to play. So we got $2 up. Let's just see. I'm thinking about where I want to put my upper range. So I could put it here, which lines up pretty well. Let's go ahead and just put it at the top peak of this one here. All right, so now let's go back to the 1 minute. Let's see how this looks. All right, so we know we're high in the range because of the white, right? So if you're running the ATA itself, you want to be really careful on the calls because we are kind of high in the range. Now, if we flip this range, right, then we're going up in a big way, but it's going to be bumpy. On a Monday or Tuesday, today I'm going to be calling it Monday all day. You can set up those longer contracts. So remember, so guys, I want to address this really fast. There's a lot of confusion in the room. When you're counting your days of your contracts, when you're setting it on the indicator on this part here, where it says contract days, the day that you're at now, today, that is 0. I know I was joking with some people in the room. I guess I confused people because I was counting it as 0, 1, 2, 3. I see how that can confuse people, but you have to count 0. So I won't use my fingers to display anymore. But so today is 0, Wednesday be 1, Thursday be 2, Friday be 3. right? So you don't want to take more than 3 on here, unless you're taking into the next week. So let's talk about where do we want to take our first put. So our first put rejection we can take somewhere in here. I think 451.60 I think would be not bad. I'm gonna delete some of these. All right, 451.60. So we'll just keep that at 5. And you guys can do whatever size contracts you want. I trade live plus I do this, so that 5 works for me for now. I'll do 3. 9:30. No, I'm good with that. Change your date. And we said 451.60. All right. So if you want to, since it doesn't do it till market open, you can always put another line and then just use this as a I wouldn't do red because I use that in my other stuff too. So we'll say like orange, right? That way I know when it's going to open. And then for our call, we want to do something down here. I'd say 449. 449. It's hard to say, right? Because we did get a hit here, but it's been holding heavy support here, so we may never actually reach that. But let's not be too aggressive with it. Let's say 449.40. I think would be fine. We'll say 35. So we'll go 449.35. 9, 5, 3. All that is fine. We could do a 0.5 strike price is fine, because remember guys, strike price is how far away you're doing your price you think it's going to get to. If you have higher days, you can do higher strike price, and it's fine. All right, 449.35 was our next one. Okay, so we have our upper, we have our lower. Now let's do our continuation. For my put continuation, I want it to be below this here, preferably. I'm gonna put mine at we'll say 448. 448.50 might be okay. Let's do that. All right, now let's do our call continuation. So it seems if we can break this, I wouldn't do anything below that anyway, so I'm gonna say 452 is what I'm gonna do. 452. So we had one there, and then we'll say 452. Okay, so that's my range. So if we break down below here and come back up, it's going to take a call. If we continue to break back down, it's going to take a put. If it comes up here and rejects, it's going to take a put. But if it breaks above here, then it's going to take a call. So that kind of protects you both ways on that run. So to set the alerts, all you have to do is add the alert here. It does have the price in there, but you can adjust the name if you want to. don't think it did those two. I'm missing that one. I think I had to wait till it loaded there. Going a little too fast. And we are in business. If you guys are curious what I'm doing, go to botjok.com, botjok.com. All right, live traders up. That's all I have, guys. We're gonna go ahead and stop the community channel here, and I will see you guys soon. I'll put out the room to trade in here. Give me about 10-15 minutes or so, and we'll get to trading. Start off the week right. If you're on TikTok, you guys want to come on in, just check us out at botjok.com.